we can cast United. Alright guys, so a bit late to it because I wanted to finish another cup that was starting at 8 PM, but here we are with the grand final, the second day of the grand final, and today it is up to the others to actually catch up to Roa, who had an amazing first week. We have overall 8 races today, and 1 race already happened, and in this left turn that you saw right there, Sander, while being in the lead, actually flew off the map, didn't make it back up the map, and had a very late decision for a respawn, and he dropped from 1st down to 9th. That mistake meant that he only finished in 5th at the end, and the others, his main opponents in the standings that you can see in the top left, they all scored the big points here. Scored better on an environment and on a map where Sander would have been the one to catch up, but he actually did not catch up, just due to that very big blunder, and it was just a mistake that happened at the exact wrong spot on the track. Roa is continuing with his great form. He was on a podium position in every single race so far. In the first rally race he was on 2nd, and again he is currently on 2nd place. It seems like Sander is by far the fastest, even though when you look at the top you see others are actually having faster lap times than Sander, and especially Blackhead, as you would expect, has a lot. But Sander seems to be, if we don't count this one big mistake that he did earlier, he seems to be the fastest, having the fastest pace in like consistency, or consistently the fastest pace. Blackhead probably did also a huge mistake now, because he's only down in 6th. He won the first rally race after Sander fell down. We have actually Hüb in 3rd place. That's very interesting because he's last overall, and he has the chance to get some really good points and close the gap to Rees, who is currently in last position in this race. We have, of course, again 8 lap long races, and we have them everywhere on every track, and 2 races per map, 2 8 laps races per map. And today we see the 4 environments that we haven't seen the last grand final. So we start here with Rally, next one seems to be Alpine, also snow, and then we will also see Bay and Coast. So Hawk closed into Hüb, but lost now quite a lot again. And Boa seems to be pretty safe with the 2nd place. The question is, Blackhead is not far away from 3rd place, can you overtake the others? Here's Ahu in front, and then Hawk and Hüb, they are also not all too far away, but there is not much time left. The skin from Ahu. I think this is the skin that makes these sounds, right? Ecstatic, as to be expected, is struggling heavily on Rally. You will see Ecstatic is in 2nd place on the total leaderboard, but Rally is most likely his worst environment, and he is struggling to keep up with the others here. Oh, Ahu with a big mistake, it seems like, if it wasn't a lag. Yeah, he actually did a big mistake. He's actually just right in front of Ecstatic now, while Blackhead is already here, so that's a big thing. Oh, big mistake for Hawk. How far is he falling back? Back to Aru and Ecstatic. Yeah, maybe it did not really cost him a position, because Blackhead might have overtaken anyway, and Hawk can still get 5th surely. Hawk is sitting also pretty good here in 3rd place overall. Oh, Hüb also with huge issues, and there goes Blackhead. Everyone actually making mistakes ahead of Blackhead. He's now back in 3rd. Blackhead also going wide. We are already in the last lap. and there's a lot of stuff happening. Sander, however, should take this home. Roa should take the second place if they don't make any further mistakes. But we have Blackhead and Hü battling for the podium. And we have other battles further back. Ecstatic and Hawk are close together. Ahu now a bit safer in the 5th place. Of course, very good for Roa and Sander as well if Ahu takes away some points from the other 2 players. But it seems that Blackhead is staying ahead of Hü. Where's the finish? It was actually not here now, it's now at a different spot, it seems like. This time Sander didn't do that mistake that he did earlier. Oh my god, Blackhead is respawning. I can't believe it, he's respawning in the last lap. And there we go. Ah, this is the finish actually. So we were just in lap 8. We were just going into it. And it is close here in the back. Hawk is 1/10 behind Ecstatic. And then they are both a little bit behind Ahu, and Blackhead now finished also not all too far in front of them. And Hüb now ahead of Blackhead because of Blackhead's respawn. Good stuff for Sander and Roa. That helps them a lot. That helps them a lot, that's for sure. And was I wrong? We do play 3 races per map, guys, not 2 races. If I remember that correct. We will have a 3rd race. Also, I'm always looking for Sander. Does he have the chance to still win the whole thing? For Sander, it is very important to win every race that he's able to win. If he was winning the first race, to be honest, it would look pretty okayish now to maybe do a comeback. But the thing that he actually failed it, and then Roa, of course, is the one guy that also takes advantage from it. Ah, that was just a huge mistake. Like, this is like the one thing that you are not allowed to do. That's for sure. Sander has to win every single race that he can, and it will be difficult to beat people like Blackhead here, that's for sure. Alright, the next race is starting, the 3rd and final race on the rally map. We have a very tight fight here for 2nd place currently, but Sander is clearly the fastest one from these 3 players, so we would expect him to move up to 2nd place once this race is finished. He just has to avoid this one big mistake that he did earlier. Let's spectate Ahu, because he is of course also very good in this environment. Is also very fast actually, and like when you look at the top, I see that the 6th best time is by him, for example. Roa's main strength is basically the consistency. He is not doing any mistakes in any of the races. I've never seen him doing mistakes, and that helps him a lot here, because there are actually many other players with very good times as well. Like, if everyone would survive, there would be a risk to only be 5th or 4th. But Roa drives it clean while the others always have their blunders. And we have a pretty poor start for Sander. It's only an 8th. It's of course the first lap here, but still only an 8th. That's already some gap that he needs to catch up. And he will have all the other cars around him now. That's the main annoying thing now. That the cars are forced on and Sander will see someone like CMC race right in front of him. And it might also distract Sander. That was, for example, also close. Like you can really see that he struggles to just pass Race. Race was last race. He was like far behind Sander, and still it was difficult for Sander to make that overtake. And it is important that he gets big points here. The start, however, looks really bad for him, because since he is so far behind, he actually did lose a lot of time already in the first lap. He's almost 3 seconds behind first. And I didn't even see a mistake. But since I went with the camera onto him, like he was just losing that much just by driving, you didn't really recognize it. And also here in this next lap, he's keeping up with first, but he's not really catching up to the others because everyone is pretty practiced and fast. And as long as they don't make mistakes, it's actually difficult to catch up anytime. The gap to first place is very interesting to see, which is now 3 seconds. But let's have a look at the battle in front. Blackhead now with a good start is leading, but Roa again doing really good and really clean and is in second place. And if he continues like this, like he will place himself ahead of Sander. Yeah, Roa with a new personal Daddy-Mania record, and you see there are enough other players that are also fast. It's only 4th, but it is the fastest time that anyone has driven now. And since Blackhead did a small mistake, we have of course Roa going into the lead, while Sander in lap 3 and almost lap 4 is still down in 7th and doesn't move forward. That's so strange. How can the races be so different? Sander was miles in front last race. Oh, Hüb with a big mistake. That helps Sander. That's 1 place at least. But still. He had such a huge gap to the others, and now everyone is keeping up. Like also Exotic and Hawk are keeping up. Like especially Exotic had 2 bad races, and now he's looking really clean in that 4th place. That was a good section for Sander. He remains this 3-second gap to first, but the thing is, first place has changed. It's not the same first place than earlier, so in theory he should have caught up a little bit. Oh, he's catching up massively to Hawk, who has low speed here. That's huge for Sander. It's another position against a direct opponent. But like, it is very crucial for all these people that try to deny Roa's win. It is really important that Roa is not taking any first places anymore. If Roa takes this first place, it looks so good for him. Because the point system awards first place by quite a bit. So you really want to get that first place. And Blackhead was trying everything to catch up, but made a small mistake. He saved it quite nicely though. He's still in the running against Roa. Spitfire DNFing, interesting. Roa losing a bit of time here. Blackhead will come equal now to Roa. Might also be that every single race winner gets a bit of prize money, so this is also worth it. not just points, but even more. But yeah, very, very crucial that Roa is not winning this to have any excitement here. Because otherwise he would create a gap that is just too large to the other players. Blackhead doing a good job in overtaking. He's also... Naja, okay, it's the start of the lap. He's very close to the Demania record, I wanted to say. And actually Roa gets attacked, and that was affecting him. That suddenly another car is coming and he makes a small mistake at least. That lets him drop a bit behind. But what do I see? Sander was already past Hawk, is now again behind Hawk. But they both caught up to Exotic a bit, but the Sander really struggling. Really struggling. Roa's now not so far in front of him. It would be very good to at least overtake that. Like, all these positions, these other 4 players that battle for the overall win. These 4 players here, Roa, Exotic, Hawk, Sander. So the direct positioning between them here in this race matters. If Roa drives clean, he probably will just stay ahead. But this battle here between Hawk, Exotic and Sander is very exciting and not decided at all. In front we have Ahu and Blackhead battling for the win here. The other players seem to be all out of that. And here comes Sander. Equal now to Hawk. Both catching up to Exotic. Small touch for Hawk, but nothing too big. Now the dirt sections, the Exotic gets them extremely clean. Oh my god, what a battle that is. Okay, good exit for Hawk and for Sander. Exotic losing a little bit of time here. Hawk actually got it the best, goes a bit far here. Sander, don't risk it too much, don't fall down again. He's overtaking Hawk, goes a bit too far. Now Exotic comes back into the running. Sander's also too far here. And these small things help Roa to extend the gap to this group. Not the greatest line for Sander. We are on lap 7. At the end of lap 7 there will be only one more lap to go. Extremely exciting race between these 3 drivers. Oh, Hawk with a small touch. And now Sander will overtake, and now he has no car in front in the way. As long as he can stay ahead of Exotic, but there is now a small gap. Exotic and Hawk are still battling. That's of course also a direct fight here. Exotic is 30 points in front of Hawk. Hawk gets this part amazing. Last round we had Exotic with a very, very good dirt section. Hawk catching up to Sander as well. Meanwhile, Exotic seems to stay behind. Let's have a short look at the front where Ahu actually took first place here from Blackhead. This is the battle for the win. They are 2.3 seconds ahead of Roa. Good fights here. Further back also a fight here for 9th and 10th actually. And Snack also not far in front of those 2. We have Aru. Aru with the big mistake, and with that Blackhead will actually overtake. Not that Roa actually takes advantage from that as well. That would be huge. Center seems to be clear. But Roa will have another podium position, but it was close. It was close. We have Sander, Hawk, Exotic, and now let's go back to this battle. Snack stays out of race, K fall back. And there we go. Spitfire with the DNF. There's, by the way, one guy missing. And who is that? Neko. Neko is not driving. Why are all the United players using meme 3D skins? Yeah, I don't know. Out of fun. Out of fun, I guess. If you play with camera 3, it of course doesn't affect you at all what skin you use. I don't know if all of them are actually doing that, if they all play with camera 3, I cannot say. But yeah, they are not taking it all too serious, even though there is a lot of prize money on the line. There's really a lot of prize money. So you have to really lock in. Alright, so the overall point score now. Roa 1450, and then we have a tie between Sander and Ecstatic, and then Hawk in 4th place, 20 points only behind. Blackhead obviously with the win on Rally is catching up. Like, he got 2 wins on Rally, so that was to be expected that Blackhead will come a little bit closer, but after Rally, and it was the 4th environment, he is quite far behind the others overall. So you can basically say, even though Blackhead got 2 wins here on his favorite environment, he is not in the running for the overall win anymore. Because on the other environments here, he will always do okay, he will always score well, but he will most likely not gain so many points to the others, because all the others still have their favorite environments. We have Hawk that will have a very good last map, so if he remains close to the others, he can still overtake in the end on Coast. We have Ecstatic probably waiting for Bay. We have Sander, who is the favorite here on Snow, and Roa is just good everywhere. Not necessarily the favorite for the win, but like at this point here, Roa only needs to make sure to continue with his podium streak, always like 2nd or 3rd, and it will be fine. And if others fail, then he could even take another win, and I think if Roa gets one more time a win on the map in one of the races, then it's GG. Anyway, race with an early mistake. Let's have a look at Spitfire. It is really now crucial. Like, if the comeback short happen, then the other players have to lock in on their best environments, on their best cars. It is extremely crucial for Sander to just take all 3 wins here. That's not easy to do. It's really not easy to do, to just win 3 times, because one mistake means immediately that he cannot win anymore. And the mistake is quickly done. You see many crashes already in the first lap. But one guy that is not crashing is Roa, and he is sitting in 2nd place. That is exactly what he needs to do. And many players are already quite far behind him. Sander, however, is doing in the first lap exactly what he needs to do, being in 1st place. But Roa caught up a little bit in this section. Oh, that was tight for Sander, I think. And that was the first lap, a 107.89. That was safe enough for 1st. If Sander wins, he gets 150 points. The 2nd place only gets 120 points. So if Sander wins 3 times and Roa gets 3 times 2nd, then in its own hands it is that Sander can actually gain 90 points. If Roa actually gets overtaken by someone else, like, and he only gets 3rd, it's already 50 points that Sander would gain in one race. But the overall gap is 250 points. So even if he would win 3 times 50 points, he would still be 100 points behind. And to be honest, on Coast, I see Roa better than Sander. So it is tough. It is very tough to make a comeback happen. Hawk, of course, can do something similar that Sander is trying to do here on in this environment. So for Hawk, it's also just important to stay close, but like ideally you beat Roa, you know. Ideally you take, like, Roa needs to get overtaken by multiple others, but that seems to not happen. The only driver that is rather close to Roa but just lost some time is Blackhead. And then we already have a gap to Spitfire, who's doing his best race so far on the snow environment, and he is followed by Hawk. And then we have also Ecstatic in 6th place. He's of course also still in the fight, but yeah, for Ecstatic the best maps were probably in week 1, and I don't really know if he can keep up on these environments here. That's, oh, especially not like this. Is someone overtaking? Not like this. Aru, however, is close to Ecstatic now. That should be clipped, guys. That was funny. Yeah, also Roa will most likely not win on Coast, but he will win points on Sand or so. The whole comeback is only possible if Roa loses here a few more points than what he does with the second place. But he is just so clean. He is just so damn clean. He didn't win many races himself, but he is like on the podium in every one so far, in every single one. And with that, he deserves to win, if he keeps that up. Xander, however, would usually challenge Roa here for the win overall. Oh, Roa made a mistake and he gets overtaken, down to third. The others are, however, pretty far behind still, but that's at least something. Also, Xander would normally be ahead of Roa because Xander has way more maps where he's able to win the races and the point system awards winning quite a lot. The thing is just that Xander really crashed a lot. He crashed especially some wins away. And these crashes that he did, they were actually also not just small things. They actually cost him a lot, like many positions. And, crucially, always, they cost him a position to Roa. Roa, of course, took extra advantage of those. But yeah, this was also a bit... It hurts to see that Xander did these mistakes, and with that, it becomes actually so difficult to catch it up. Like the first rally race now, he would have won and went only to 5th. And he did, oh, that was a bad bug here for Spitfire. We have 4 closing into Roa, that would be important as well. We had that huge desert crash that was not for the win, but it was still a huge crash for Xander when he was in the fight for 2nd place. And then crashed and went down to 7th or something. Then I believe on Island he also had a really big crash and a very bad race once. So quite some big points already lost, but Roa would be leading at this point anyway, I would think. Even without these big crashes, Roa would be still a bit ahead. But Xander at the end of Snow would usually overtake and not be so many points behind that he is right now. So far, it's clean for Xander, and Blackhead is keeping up with the pace, also really strong by Blackhead as well. Ecstatic, however, is down in 7th and 18 seconds behind. He seems to fall off the podium here. He was in 2nd place after week 1, and he was himself also missing on many more points. He was still sitting in 2nd, even though he really had a very bad desert environment, and desert should have been very good for him. But Island he was extremely strong, Stadium he obviously was pretty good. So due to that were some really good ecstatic environments. He was up in 2nd place. But Rally was not fully his one, and Snow was also not the perfect environment for him, it seems like, at least. So Hawk did lose a little bit of ground to Roa. This is still the most interesting fight. No, wait. Nah. Xander actually lost the lead to Blackhead. And we go into the very last lap now. Is Blackhead actually gaining or winning on Snow? Blackhead lost time, but Xander also didn't get it good. But Blackhead lost more speed. It's the last lap, guys. But one of them might make a big crash now in the fight, and then Roa takes advantage again. That would be typical, right? Oh, Blackhead had a bad landing, but he is ahead. Oh my, how did he survive that? That's crazy. So now, very important to not get a land bug here. They both get it good, but Blackhead in the lead. Can Xander actually catch that up? Because it's pretty PF the last turn. You can risk the last hairpin a lot. We have one more corner to go. Will someone let Roar get second? Sander's overtaking Black and it's equal, maybe. Oh my god, it's a 100 difference. Holy shit. That was a crazy race. Holy shit. Blackhead tries the point 89, which was a little bit too safe to win this race. Ay. Roar gets third. The fact that none of those two was crashing in the fight for first. Like, I saw that coming, that they crash and Roar is moving up again, but holy shit. That's crazy. Sander takes first, the Heart of Blackhead by one single 100. Roar third, Hawk in fourth, Aru in fifth, Spitfire sixth, and Ecstatic down in seventh. Was very close to Aru and Spitfire, but losing out on these two places. And we have Snack in 8th. Also, that was close with Hoop. And K in 10th, and then Rees out. Yes, the block set is really cool. Also, especially the detail, like how detailed all these blocks are. Like there are so many things you could do with them, how you can use them. Team 2020, the basic blocks from the basic editor, they are just so that there is not much. Like, no, in normal Stadium, for example, no, when the game came out, you have so many different platform blocks, but it's literally just platform. There's no detail, no elevation, no extra things. It is just a flat platform with a different surface. And especially all the decoration blocks in the older games, also in Canyon Valley, really missed them because you could really use them a lot. Like there were like every month on Mania Exchange or TMX, there were some monthly track contests. They exist since ages. Always have a theme, and one theme was that in 1 month, or we had it multiple times, you had to build a map where you drive on the decoration blocks, and there are so many blocks, and there are so many possible ways to actually drive on these deco blocks, and it's so cool. But I don't really know in Team 2020, what would you even count as a decoration block, and would the driving on it be any interesting? I don't know. Like, that's something that is really missing. Na, also, as an example, these houses here, no? We have, of course, a bit this here, but these houses here, for example, you can use them also in driving. You can do transitions with them and so on. They are so cool. You can make tunnels with these houses. I really always loved to do that when I was young. Ah, shit, I hate that bug. There's so much what you can do with these, just as an example. Alright, we go into the next race. Let's spectate Roar, no pressure. Roar always has such clean starts into the races. Let's go to the last place driver. Then we see everything ahead. Every crash. There was one crash. That was Ecstatic. Yeah, Ecstatic mentally also gave up. But it's also hard. Like, if this is really not the greatest envy for him, it's really difficult to still believe in it. Because he has to wait now for Bay to come. And then Coast, however, you know that Hawk is taking the wins, so it's tough. That was a surprising first place right now with Hoop. We go a bit further. Spitfire is still very close to the field. Hawk is actually not far in front of him. Xander took over the lead. Let's have a look at this. Roar is battling with Hoop for that second place. By the way, when you look at the top, That's also crazy. Black Cat drove the fastest lap times. As a Sander has a PB of a 103.14, which is far ahead of anyone else. But apparently he didn't drive a single 103 in the whole races, in the whole first race, and also until now he didn't do that. That's interesting to see. Black Cat has the best time with 104.00, then also the next best time, also the 4th best time, then the 6th best time. Ecstatic is actually an 8th, but he seems to be way too inconsistent with this. While the others drive that like almost every round. Like, and you don't really see Roa that much. Like, he's only once in the best 12 laps so far. He's only once there. But you see his position again. He is in 2nd place. Can go a bit back. Hyp is still close. Black Hat is still close. Hawk is then 3 seconds behind. That's a bit of a gap. But generally, people are still rather close together. It's already lap 3, of course. And many people are still like within 5-6 seconds. Oh, that's bad. That's a bad mistake for Black Hat. He had a bit of a gap behind him, but Hawk takes advantage. Don't forget Hawk, like he... Oh my god. Hawk crashed. Yeah, but Hawk will most likely score 450 points on the last track. Ecstatic actually goes back now to 4th place after he had a crash in the first lap. You see also the best lap time from this race here, which is the 104.22 by Sander. And he has now a bit of a bigger lead to Roa. But Roa again sits pretty comfortable in 2nd. He has only one opponent close to him. But then the other fast opponents, they already dropped quite far. Roa is just incredibly consistent so far. I wonder if he can keep it through with getting podium. It will not be easy on Bay. And it will also not... Oh, that's a bad mistake. It will also not be easy on Coast. But Coast is easier than Bay, I would say. Like, Bay will decide. Like, if Sander is able to win on Bay, and if Roa is actually falling down the order to 6th or something, then a comeback is possible. Roa was not doing all too good on Bay in the semi-finals. Oh, this is a huge respawn! This is a huge respawn! The podium streak might be over. There's also absolutely no booster for Roa for a long time. That is the first big mistake by him. He dropped to 6th place. He has someone like Hawk behind him. Hawk made a mistake as well. It's down to 10th. That hurts Hawk a lot. Like now, even with a very good Coast in the end, that's not looking too good. Sander, meanwhile, is 4 seconds in the lead in front of Hyp. In theory, Sander could save it. Roa needs to do the comeback now. He already passes K, as if K was actually having less PS here. And closes into Ecstatic, who crashes immediately away. And with that, Roa is already in 4th. That's how quick it goes, and Hyp is actually also not all too... Wait, Hyp made a mistake. He was in 2nd place, of course, and now he is just right in front of Roa. So Roa actually still could reach the podium, that's crazy. He had a big standing respawn with no boosters, dropped multiple seconds, and he is almost 3rd again. That's crazy. Like, this is like such a race where the others would need to use it, but like, holy shit, it is super close behind Roa. He's there, then comes K, Spitfire and Ahu, they are all close. Ecstatic dropped to 8th, he was just 4th, he's now 8th. For Hawk that would have been so good to become 4th now, and also taking points away from Roa. That seems to not happen. Black Hat, by the way, drove a 103.75 now as a new best lap time. There was also a round where he caught up to Sander by quite a lot. And now the gap is again over 4 seconds. It was shortly under 4 seconds. And that was probably the moment where Black Hat drove that lap. Blackhead had a really bad start into this race and now he sits very easy in second place. And meanwhile we see now Roa and Hüb equal. This is the podium, the possible podium for Roa. But if he does one more mistake, a similar mistake than what he just did, if that happens to him one more time, then actually many people would overtake him. Then he would actually drop a lot of places. Oh, that was close for Hüb. I really would like to see Granadi versus Sander here, by the way. Sander is so goated on snow. Like, Granadi would not have an easy task against Sander here, that's for sure. And I mean, Blackhead is also keeping up with that pace. That's also crazy. I mean, they actually keep some gap to the Deadymania records. They are not driving, no, they are 1 second away from that, mostly. I have to say that, so there is a possibility for an even bigger pace. And of course, if a Granadi drives such a pace and is ahead, but let's focus this. I know Sander's already in the last lap, so they are not finishing right now yet. But the last lap starting now, and Roa's catching up to Hüb. Also if a Granadi is of course ahead of Sander, you could think maybe Sander starts making mistakes then, because he needs to risk more. But I thought also that Sander might make a mistake, or Blackhead, in the last race when they battled against each other, and they actually didn't do mistakes. Oh! Oh. Aru, ecstatic passing. Ah, that's all. That's all. But Roa's down to 6th. So meanwhile we go ahead to Sander. He only needs to bring that home. And Roa's streak is over. Of course, Roa has a big advantage with Neko not playing. No, this is one player less that overtakes him here. Ah, Sander saved the last turn. Nice to see for the save meister. Blackhead takes the 2nd place. Here's Hüb. Hüb and Aru are still rather close. But they both make it. And Ecstatic also makes it. And then comes Roa further behind. Aye. Okay, 6th place for Roa only. Now it gets a little bit more interesting, I would say. But yeah, what I wanted to say, he had that lead from the first week, and now that he has that lead and only needs to protect it, it is very helpful for him that someone like Neko is actually missing, because in a race like this, like, it could have easily happen that Neko is actually between Roa and Sander, and that Neko will actually push Roa to 7th place, which means that Roa loses 10 further points. But without Neko, he's not losing that now. Alright, we have only 120 points now between Sander and Roa. The other players, however, they are of course trailing quite far behind. For Hawk, this was really a missed opportunity. Since Roa crashed, it was the chance for Hawk to actually gain some points, but now he only finished in 9th himself. And yeah, with that, Hawk is probably out of the running as well. We have one more race, and still, even though this was now really good for Sander, the only chance for Sander to make the whole comeback happen will be if he manages to also win the 3rd race. He needs to win every race that he can. The thing is, on Bay it will be more difficult, but I'm unsure. Maybe Sander will win on Bay. Maybe he just will win there. I'm not completely sure yet. Bay has so many good players, so many players that might fight for the win. But Coast is definitely like... Sander needs to overtake Roa on Bay, actually. He needs a gap to Roa before they go to Coast, most likely, because Coast could be a Roa environment. That's the thing. And imagine Sander didn't do that mistake on Heli. They would basically be equal already, almost equal. Okay. Neko meanwhile now down to 11th. Will of course get overtaken now, since he doesn't score. Coast as a decider seems so anticlimactic. I just have to remind you of my semi-final, where I finished 1/10 behind Snack and it was 4 positions difference. Didn't they want to get rid of the warmer, by the way? I'm very surprised they still have that. Alright. Camera on Roa again. How does he deal with the first lap here after he had now his first unsuccessful race? Clean start. Is up in the front. You can really say that Sander struggles. Like, Sander is half a second down already. And also last race he was not really far in front. Like, when you look at him, he's a little bit behind the others. And a very difficult section is this next tunnel turn, this 90-degree one. This is such a difficult corner. But he manages to get through there. Then you have to make sure to not get any landing bug here, but he makes that. And now he is a bit clear of ghosts. Like, there are still ghosts ahead, but they're not right in front. Interesting horn. And yeah, Roa again with a good start. Hawk actually dropping a bit back. Roa, that was close. Touches the... like, he had that respawn exactly on that part. Oh. Sander got a really bad line here. That could fix it. We have Exetic in the lead, guys. Exetic is an interesting player. It looked so bad for him, and now in the third race he's just leading. And is close to the Demania record as well. I think he just goes full ham. I mean, last race wasn't that bad. He was one of the drivers that was still finishing in front of Roa. But of course, compared to Sander, he was pretty far away and made many mistakes. But now he's just leading. But yeah, good comeback for Sander again. And he's coming closer to Exetic. But the battle behind is also nicely close. Spitfire is in the running here this time. Behind Roa and Blackhead. We have also right behind Aru and Hyp. They are also still close. But Hawk has a bad time on this map. He's again with a crash down in 10th place. That will lose him more points here. Bought a podium overall. Oh, Roa made a mistake here. That's quite a mistake. It's not the worst one. And Exetic, he was just leading and now he is here. Roa passes Exetic out of all the players. And he has such good speed. Passes also the next player. Moves up to 5th again. Also his mistake was not the worst one. But of course when you do it in the early stages, then people will overtake. Let's go in front, because Blackhead is pushing really hard. He's pushing really hard to beat Sander here. As a crazy performance by Blackhead, actually. I thought after rally, and since he was a bit behind, it's chanceless for him. But look at the points now, because if this race ends like it looks at the moment, then he might actually overtake Hawk. Also, Blackhead was really alone in the points, far behind the top 4, but he is actually very close to Hawk and Exetic now. So, very good comeback for Blackhead, because he continues after rally, continues to do really well on snow as well. And one thing that I just realized when I talked about Hawk is that he actually moved from 10th to 7th. He has Snack, Rees, K and Exetic behind him. Exetic went from 1st to almost last. But I saw it coming, actually. He was too inconsistent, and it was obvious in that moment when he does now one mistake, probably more will follow. Really clean driving here by Blackhead. We have Aru still in 3rd. Roa is now in 4th. But this here's the battle to look out for. .103.86 for Blackhead, while Sander was driving a 104.03. The pace by both players is really, really high. They are both risking now a bit more. Ahu still holding on in 3rd. Sander meanwhile ahead of the Daddy-Mania 1 record here in the start of this lap. Oh my god. I lost a little bit, he's now equal with the Daddy-Mania record. But Blackhead is only half a second behind. As in this part, I don't know what the Daddy-Mania record did from him, but Sander is now 6/10 behind Daddy record. Cannot say what he did wrong here. It looked extremely clean, but now it's almost a full second and Blackhead is still there. Good, this is high pace. This is high pace. Aru still in 3rd and still with a big gap to Roar. Üb is not so far away from Roar. Then follows Spitfire. And Hawk is in 7th, Ecstatic up to 8th. Ecstatic gained again a little bit. Snake K and Race 33 behind for a moment. Blackhead meanwhile catching up to Sander, crazy pace. I didn't think that Blackhead would be so good on Snowcar. That's so beautiful how they drive that. And so controlled as well. If they just use the correct snowcar skin though. Alright, we are going into the last lap now, and the gap is only 3/10 between the two. For Roa, of course, it would be super helpful if Blackhead is taking away the win, and he does, and how much is Sander losing? Sander is losing 1st and 2nd place. That's not good. He only gains 10 points on Roa in this race now, instead of possible 60 points. The pressure was too big. Sander was a bit too inside, maybe touched the lamp there. But yeah, came then too outside, had to oversteer to make the ramp jump still. And Blackhead will drive it home. Aru will drive it home. Sander has to make sure to not fall behind Roa now. That would be bad, of course. So Blackhead goes into the finish 8:39, truly a very good time. Aru, Sander, then we have Roa finishing, then we have Hyp and Spitfire is then quite far behind. Hawk and Ecstatic are following. The skin hitbox fucked him, he writes. I am not surprised, to be honest. You drive with that car. Yeah, so you have to know that the mirrors here are actually the hitbox, you know? That's very strange with that snow car always. The mirrors are the hitbox. Not the side of the car, it's like the mirrors. Not sure how it was with his skin, but he touched this lamp. Even though the lamp is not on the road, you are actually touching it. Like even when your tires are on the road here, the mirrors, the hitbox is actually touching the lamp. And he was touching that slightly, that sent him outside a bit. And then he needed to oversteer to make the jump. So there will be a break now, a longer warm-up. While they are doing that, we are having a look at the records from these maps that I played earlier. So let's have a look. Plugins. Or let's actually see, maybe it's already in the campaign here. Pathfinding campaign, is this today? No. Cut Cup Room, Cut Cup Hunting. No, these are from another week. Cut Cup Hunting 2. Ah. Yeah, here. Don't know why it starts there, but let's have a look at the world records from the Cut Cup. This was the snowcar map, and Joso has an 18.7 now. So first of all, I check out Aura. Ah, he does this, which what I also did earlier. Oh. Hey, this makes sense as well. This makes sense as well. What is Joso doing? Yeah, this makes of course a lot more sense than what Aura was doing. Okay, now this is very strange. Also he does the exact same checkpoint order that Aura is doing, but Aura decided to jump down here and make this left turn to go down there, while you could also just go directly here and just make one right turn. Like, yeah, obviously this is better. Why is Aura not doing that? Like, that makes actually a lot of sense. But yeah, overall that made sense what they do. To be honest, this checkpoint was my problem in my route, and I also started with that checkpoint once. And to be honest, having it in the beginning makes so much sense, because this is a very annoying checkpoint otherwise if you don't start with it. So it makes sense that you actually use it at the start, even though this jump is difficult. But it makes sense. Now the thing is that I continued wrongly. I later figured out that the combination of taking this and go up and then this and drop to this, I've later figured out that this is a very senseful combination. So combining basically that start with that idea, that is basically what I needed to do. Because I figured out that start, I did that, and I also figured out that this is a very nice combination. I only had to connect the two. That you basically, when you come from here, that you don't go up there where you couldn't take them in the correct order, that you actually go down here, and yeah, then everything makes sense. Yeah, that's interesting. Let's go next. Joso had just a very good time here, I would say. The route was pretty obvious. I'd be surprised if there was something different. The only question is how you drive that. Ah, he actually did that. Ah, maybe I should have tried it a bit longer. But yeah, this was quite easy. He did play Team 2020 sometimes, yeah. I will ask him if he wants to play the Rebellion Cup, but I don't think that he will. Or if he would, then he would be in a different team. Is Joso doing literally just what I did? Oh yeah. Ah, not fully. Ah, I was thinking about that all the time, actually. Also first of all, I didn't invest enough time into hunting this. Actually, you don't even need to go over the edge, you get the checkpoint just like this. I was thinking about doing this here, this way around, but I wasn't sure if that's really worth it. But yeah, it actually is worth it to do that. Okay, those are the 3 maps. Was doable, but I was probably a bit too distracted generally from the United match also starting. Wait. Okay. 1 more minute of warm-up. 2 more maps to go, 6 more races in total. $110 points is the gap between Roa and Sander. The happenings in the last snow race, they heavily help Roa. The thing is, Sander had that pressure that he needed to win 3 times and he almost did so. But yeah, that one mistake in the last lap, of course, did cost him 50 points. Instead of gaining 150, he only gained 100. And gained only 10 points towards Roa, which is of course really low. But yeah, here we go. We have Blackhead and Ecstatic in 1390 and Hawk in 1370. The favorite is still Hawk for the podium, even though he messed up on snow by quite a bit. But the thing is, Ecstatic was also messing up. And yeah, Hawk has pretty guaranteed wins coming up. So they can only save themselves from Hawk if they do much better on Bay. Ecstatic could however be good here. Let's have a look at him. The question is, will he now do consistent? Oh my god, we saw a big mistake already. Was that Blackhead? K is behind. So we have very different players now in front. Also for Rees, who is in the back of the field. This is the best environment for Rees, Bay. And we have many players that have Bay as their best environment. That makes it so exciting. By the way, the semi-final version didn't have this jump, but in the grand final we have a quarter pipe jump with the Bay car. That's very interesting as well. And yeah, you see, for Roa, this is very dangerous because more players have the ability to be very good here and to challenge him. The thing is, Sander still needs to get first places. Like, Sander also has to beat all of these people if he really wants to catch up points, because there's only 10 point gaps from third to the next positions. Roa now, however, is up here. Sander is up here. Roa actually overtaking Sander, and Ecstatic is also up here. So it's very exciting here. But yeah, very interesting that we see new players with Rees and with Hüb fighting for the top places as well. And Sander was actually not going for the risk line, it was overtaking. That's very interesting. And you see everyone is still close together, apart from K. Snack also, oh, Hawk makes a mistake though. That's very bad for Hawk. Gives the chance for the others to gain enough points lead to secure a podium. But of course they also not necessarily get first here. Ecstatic could. Spitfire, not too far away. Much better jump than Ahu. Okay, Ahu still had a better landing, because Spitfire jumped low but then very far instead. But yeah, they are all not far away. Like, Spitfire only is 3 seconds behind first. It's very close still. But Sander is not really, it's not looking too good yet, because he is, wait, that was a mistake by someone. Who was that? Rees. Rees is down to 8th place. Rees fell out of the top places. Xander actually jumping straight and Blackhead as well. That's interesting. But yeah, the thing is, as long as Xander's behind Roar, it looks very good for Roar. Roar has a very good first race here so far. Because in Coast I expected even more that Roar will beat Xander. On Bay, Xander has to beat Roar somehow. He's not doing it right now. Let's have a look at Roar. He does that very good, very clean. Cube is having a really good race so far. Nexatic also looks now a lot stronger. So far so clean for everyone. Reese is up to 5th, Hawk in 6th. Hawk, despite this big mistake, Blackhead is down in 9th. Blackhead lost a lot, guys. Roar made a mistake. But he actually only dropped 1 position. He only lost to Xander, which is of course an important position, but he didn't lose much more. Because there was just a gap forming and Hawk is doing a big mistake once again. Spitfire and Blackhead passing. Mistakes can really cost a lot here in this environment as well. Yeah, and Xander in 3rd. The gap to the top 2 is quite large. And he would again only gain 10 points. That's the thing. In this point system you really need to get top 2 placement to catch something up. Like if he gets only 3rd, it's just only good for Roar. Like it's oh yeah, something happened. How far is Typ now behind? He gets also overtaken by Roar. No, Roar also made a mistake. Okay, now things change a lot. Now things change a lot because Roar also gets attacked by Aru and drops here to 6th place partly. But Xander makes it as well. Xander it was just looking good for him. He was in 2nd. He was in 2nd. Why is everyone doing it in the same lap? We are back to the previous situation, just that Ecstatic has now a large lead in front. It was just getting exciting and then Xander also crashes. Because it could have been that Roar is now in 5th, maybe even 6th if Ahu overtakes, and Xander was in 2nd, and then he actually would gain quite some points, even if he doesn't win. But yeah, nothing is lost yet, because these 4 players here that are fighting for 2nd are all close together. Rees, who made that huge mistake and dropped far back, is actually in 2nd again. Super low jump for Roar, that was dangerous. Like everyone made 1 mistake and it's only Ecstatic in the lead now. Okay, so Bay looks really good for Ecstatic. Rees with another mistake. That helps of course Xander to get that position, but also helps Roar. We are soon going into lap 6. There will be 3 more laps to drive. Roar with a big mistake. Oh, that will cost him quite a lot. We see Ahu overtaking and Blackhead and Spitfires also here. That's huge for Xander again. He sits in 3rd. 2nd place would be juicy. It would be 20 extra points. It seems like impossible to win here. It would require a big mistake from Ecstatic in front, obviously. But this is the fight that we want to check out. Spitfire. Rees is 8th and he's far behind us. Also Rees had such a good chance here to get a good result and now he's only in 8th. Roar actually overtakes everyone else. Like after such mistakes that Roar now had, he should feel so much pressure, but then he just boosts himself ahead of the other 3 drivers immediately again. That's crazy. Because Roar is literally just 1 position behind Xander. He would only lose 10 points, even though there is now a bit of a gap between them. Actually, not such a big gap. Ecstatic made a big mistake, guys. But he's still leading. Ecstatic actually made a mistake. Or, to be honest, without that one mistake that Sander had, we didn't really see what happened, but without that one mistake that Sander had, he would be winning at the moment. But there is something else that just happened. Hüb crashed. And he went from 2nd down to 7th. Giving Rohr another podium position. Now, however, that's good for Sander, because now it's not 10 points that he gains, now it would be 20 points that he gains. That's what I wanted to say earlier. It's better for Sander, like when he's just one place ahead of Rohr, it's better that this would be between 1st and 2nd, or 2nd and 3rd, than anywhere else in the field. So a fail by Ecstatic, for example, would favor Sander even more, because he would gain more towards Rohr then. But generally, Rohr, after his mistakes, still able to get a podium place, and he was still able to beat these other drivers, and they all look pretty fast, you know? But this is a close fight here. Also if he makes one more mistake and falls behind that group, then it's immediately 3 positions lost. That would hurt a lot, not gonna lie. But Bay might be exciting then also in the next 2 races. Proper for Sanders, it doesn't really look as if he would win by pace here. And he also does mistakes sometimes. Close battle here. We are on the last lap. By this point, Ecstatic should save it, Sanders should save it, and nothing happens there. Rohr theoretically also can save it, because he has 2 seconds to this group. Oh, Ahu, that's a huge mistake. We will pass here, and also Rees is coming back. But yeah, the only big fight is Spitfire versus Blackhead. Meanwhile, Ecstatic, I said he can save it. And what is he doing? He is only 2/10 away from the Mania record. What are you doing, Ecstatic? Now I actually have to watch that. He's only 3/10 away from the Mania record. Why is he driving that fast? It's so difficult on Bay to stay close to the records. Ecstatic takes it, or he even goes the risky way here. Or Sander made a mistake, I believe. I'm not sure. It was just that Ecstatic drove so fast. Blackhead made a mistake. Blackhead made a mistake. Hüb gets 4th, Blackhead 5th, Spitfire, Aru, Rees, then Snake K and Hawk is in last. Was actually, wait, there's a tie between Spitfire and Aru, I didn't even notice. They somehow tied. No, they didn't. I looked wrong. It's a 62 versus an 82. They didn't tie, but it is close. Hüb drove the fastest lap. Oh yeah, true. Hey, he drove really close to that Mania 1 record. What? What the fuck? Okay, also Sander gaining another 20 points. There is a lot possible on this map. Like, if Rohr does too many mistakes, or too many other drivers are not doing mistakes, then there is a chance here that he drops multiple places. But it could also happen that Rohr just wins the next race, and then it's over. Hawk asking for can I forfeit? Why? Sander with a disconnection. Game crash. Yeah, that's a typical issue. If this game is freezing, then you cannot do anything. You don't have even access to signing off from Windows, and or that's maybe the only thing you can do. Maybe, like it's really difficult. The game is just ahead, and you cannot do anything. You have to kind of restart your PC. It's really annoying. But it seems like as if they go live now. Also yeah, I can get rid of this, but I don't know how I get it again. Okay. And here is also something I can click on, and there's also something. There's so much. Okay, let's see. Or once again with a really good first lap. He seems to have absolutely no issues with the cars on. I guess that this is the reason why he always wants to keep it. It's crazy, like you would think that he should show a little bit of pressure in this situation, but every first lap with all the cars around, he's always going into the good positions. Also not necessarily first, but he's often up there. Has no issues with the cars around him. Oh, that was a little bit too fast. It's dropping down. K now on a good position for once. And we have a triple fight in the front. Very, very close. Sander's actually going into the lead there. So I can get rid of this here a little bit, if you think that's better. The Alemania records. So Sander has a really good race, but he is fighting against Roar. And Ecstatic is catching up. Hypus, by the way, far behind. He was driving the fastest time in the last lap of the last race. Now he's down in 10th. Did a big mistake already. But even Ahu in 8th... Oh, Ecstatic just made a huge mistake. I wanted to say even Ahu in 8th is only 3 seconds behind first. So it's still rather close, even though you see some gaps between the positions here. Spitfire and K are fighting for the podium, that's nice to see. Overall they are of course a bit in the back. And Rees also messed up, Blackhead also messed up. That gives Hawk the chance. Where's Hawk? 6th, he's in 6th place. He's here, right behind them actually. But the interesting fight is this. We have them between 1 or 2 10th here, and they created a gap to 3rd place already. Like, Roar doesn't even need to push, you know? Like, in theory, yeah, because if he wins this battle against Sander, he's gaining a lot of points, but he can actually afford to lose some points if he thinks that he is... Also, he could actually save the 2nd place at this point, if he thinks that on Coast he will definitely beat Sander. That's the question. Also usually I would think that he does beat Sander on Coast. But who knows, maybe Sander actually practiced for this final. And even practiced Coast, because he knew that he would lose way too many points in positions if he's unprepared there. Or not perfectly. Also he needs to probably prepare much more on Coast to make sure that he's not falling down the order too much. The thing is, on coast there are a lot of good players. There is a risk that as a Hawk is winning coast, and there is a risk that both K and Spitfire are beating Sander there. And if also Exotic and Roa beat him there, then he would already drop to 6th. Like, and then even without crashing or something, just by pace, it could be that Sander is only like 6th. So he would probably invest a lot of practice into coast if he wants to avoid that from happening. And if it happens that Roa beats some of these guys and then they are placing in front of Sander, then it's very bad for him. Blackhead, by the way, is also decent in coast. So yeah, it's very, very difficult. However, Sander creates a bit of a gap to Roa here, who had just a small slide. But yeah, of course, it's super risky. It can easily happen that you do a small mistake and lose all. That's the thing with endurance races. One mistake just... like, it's not just one round lost, it's like immediately a full race loss. You cannot catch that up if it's a big time loss. But, to be honest, both of them have big gaps now to the players behind. Spitfire is in 3rd, but almost 5 seconds behind. And then we have a very cool fight to look out for, which is Hawk, Ahu, Snack and Exotic. They are fighting for 4th, but they are already far behind the leaders. So even if they would make a mistake now, if it's not like super big, they would maybe still stay ahead of them. And funnily, Spitfire is joining them. Yeah, there are actually 5 drivers now. Then Rees is completely alone in 8th. And Blackhead is just ahead of Hyp and K. Hyp is of course way too far back for Bay. Also, he can fight for the win here with this pace, but that's of course not good. And Rees of course also a bit too far behind here. But at least he didn't crash much further after his beginning. Yeah, a bit crazy is of course Exotic looked very strong in the first race on Bayer. Wait, he just made a mistake. Or did he? Also he is now behind Rees. Yeah, Exotic of course looked very strong in the first race, and now... he's on such a position. Hawk does also do a mistake. Gives now a bit of playing room for Ahu and Snack. Spitfire is low. What does Spitfire do in this quarter pipe now? Yeah, nothing. I saw it coming. Ach hey, Spitfire is losing so much now. He should have respawned immediately. He's now down in 8th. Oh my god, oh god, he lost so much. He's 18 seconds behind the leaders now and in 8th place. Yeah, now from this whole group, only 2 players are left. Snack is in the podium, and I just click on him and he drifts away. Amazing. And Ahu. Like, now it's a huge gap from Roa and Sander to the others. So we can really focus on this fight here for first, which is also the overall fight for the overall first position. But with a second place, Roa is still doing really good overall. It would become closer, obviously, but it would still look pretty good for him. But Sander, of course, also has the pressure now. He cannot afford to make a mistake and let Roa win here. It would immediately mean that it's then impossible. In the top 12 times I see Sander 3 times only. And I see not a single Roa time in the top 12. He is not a single time to be seen there. He's just driving super consistent. So we are approaching the ending of the second to last lap. There's one more lap to go. On snow, Sander has lost one of his races in the last lap. The gap now is 8 to 9/10. And looked to be pretty consistent there. Or caught up a little bit in that section here. It's 7/10 now. Now the quarter pipe jump can risk a lot. Or gets it good, but Sander also had it clean. It's still 7/10. Now here the exit very dangerous, but they make it. And very dangerous is this bottom section where Sander crashed in the first race. With this transition here, he makes it. He makes also this. It's 8/10. They are so equal in those checkpoints. It's crazy, huh? Ah, that was not a good turn for Rohr. So by now it should be it for Sander. He doesn't make a big mistake at the very end. 1 second. Needs to do only the finish turn and then he has it. GG to Sander, very good run. At 10 minutes 11 seconds time. Can you crash please, Rohr? He's asking. We have Hawk in third? What happened there? Aru beats Snack, then super close, then Ecstatic Spitfire, and Rees is then... No, Spitfire actually only finishes now. Rees is finishing now, then comes Blackhead, and then we have also Hyp, who crashed another time, and then K. It was very close here. Aru in fourth, ahead of Snack in fifth, but still one of the best races for Snack. Ecstatic at sixth, but Hawk actually in third. That's crazy that he still ended up there, but yeah, 11 seconds, of course. So, there is a gap of 60 points now between Rohr and Sander. $60 points. One last warm-up for Bay, for the last Bay race. Every Bay race, of course, over 10 minutes long, that's crazy. By the way, Ecstatic is sitting in third place and has a 100-point gap to Blackhead. But Hawk, of course, with that third place is now close again. And most likely would still get third if he goes into course with 120 points of a gap. Nah, would he? Depends really on what position Ecstatic would get. But yeah, the third race. As Sander has just shown that he is able to do pretty well and to that he's able to win a race here on Bay. And now he's really in need to do that another time. He needs to do it another time. Oh, that was not great. He had to adjust and went outside pole. Oh. makes the jump. Hawk with a crash. Now Roar again sitting in second place early on. Not a good start for Sander as he has all these cars ahead of him now. While Roar is going into the lead in front. Ecstatic and Hawk, they are both fighting for the podium. They are both already behind, but not by a lot. I mean, it's a lot for one lap, but we saw Sander won with 11 seconds. They can still come back from that. Rees, however, also 2 seconds behind. Ooh, that was tight for Sander with the outside. Good line. And now it's again Roar and Sander in the top 2. Because Hüb crashed. He actually fell down to 7th. I was just about to go away with the camera from Sander. This could be huge for Roar now. I mean, Sander will be able to overtake all of them again, but he is now down in 10th place. But there he overtakes Snack already. He will of course be able to make a comeback. Everyone is still close and others will do mistakes as well. But if Roar just keeps that now, like if Roar keeps the same pace and consistency that he did in the previous race, then Sander has absolutely no chance to catch him. And then Roar will win this race. He can of course not really control what position Sander will still get, but behind him, no? But he can definitely make sure to stay in front of Sander, and he has also great chances to win this race. While Sander has now to battle with all these other cars, and they are of course all fast, like you don't really overtake them that easily. It's just the overall consistency that is good for Sander. But you see Ecstatic is beating Sander right now in this lap. You see Hüb in front and Hüb is in third. Actually, Roar lost a bit of his lead. It's now only 4 seconds, and where's Hüb? Hüb is now in 9th, by the way, guys. Hüb is now 8 seconds behind. I didn't really see what happened to him, but everyone just gained a position. Sander is overtaking Spitfire. Sander and Ecstatic together hand in hand doing the comeback. Meanwhile, Roar and Hawk battling for the lead in front. Hawk actually overtook. That's interesting. Ecstatic is now up to third already. Sander is now in fourth, but still in a close battle with R. Ooh, very low jump for Sander, but he makes it. He sticks it. The landing. And it's a 3-second gap between Sander and first place. 2.5 to Roar. But Roar mainly has just to try to stay in front of Sander here, to be honest. That's the main task for Roar. But of course, if he would win this race, it would be huge, because it's 30 extra points. And Ecstatic, after he was like an almost last in the first round, in the first lap of this race, he is really doing well. He was equal with Sander after Sander's mistake, but he's catching up to first. He's also, he drove a little bit away from Sander, and now he just stays in front of Sander and forces Sander to also drive that fast if he wants to get that position. close now. In front we can also see the battle between Hawk and Hoa. That's also still a very close battle, with only 2 or 3 tenths difference between them. Sander with a great quarter pipe jump. Coming closer to Ecstatic. Now comes the part where Sander got a two-wheeler. And he actually risks that turn. You would think that if you have a crash there, you would actually release a bit more, but no, he just overtook. And Ecstatic, of course, is driving fast himself as well. Sander's only 4 tenths behind the D-Mania 1 record, which belongs to him, by the way. So he is doing good pace. He is also catching up to Hoa. That's clearly to see. It's just 1.5 seconds now between the two. But Sander has to risk it. He needs to risk it after his mistake. He is in the situation where he needs to take some risks. The risks, of course, include that he might do another mistake when he tries to catch up and falls down much more. Even though you have to say that some people are already a bit further behind now, that they would not necessarily overtake Sander. That's interesting how every race there is a different guy in front. Like we had first Ecstatic, then we had a clear battle between Sander and Hoa, and everyone else was nowhere. And now we have Hawk in the lead. And however, you have to imagine Hawk did that comeback in the second race where he still reached 3rd place overall, despite being far behind early on. And after the first Bay race, Hawk wanted to actually leave the server and give up. Like, why did Hawk actually get last or even a DNF in the first Bay race? When you see his pace now, that's crazy. Sander with a mistake and bump, there is Ecstatic. Also it's only a small drift, of course, but Ecstatic is also still right behind him. And that's the thing is that Sander lost now 1 lap where he didn't catch up to Hoa. He lost basically 1 lap. Because he had that pace or that gap already last lap, and due to the small mistake he didn't really come much closer. It's still 1.2 seconds now. And he needs to pass Hoa. He needs to pass him. Somehow. There are only 2 laps to go. Can he do that? He is overall faster, but not by a lot. Especially now Hoa also picked up the pace. It is still 1.1 seconds. So barely anything gained in this lap so far. For Sander, who is looking good when you compare it with the D-Mania record. He didn't really catch anything up this lap. There is of course still a risk that Hoa is taking the win here. If Hawk makes a small mistake and Hoa takes first but Hawk still remains in front of Sander, then it's very bad for Sander. Also he didn't catch up anything, it's still 1.2 seconds, they have the exact same pace. Even though Sander did a pretty good lap. Nothing happened. Ecstatic lost a little bit the contact. Let's have a look at Hoa last lap. He's just so calm and clean in his driving. Like, it's such a pressure situation theoretically. Sander made a mistake. Sander might lose 3rd place, at least it's close again. He's still having some leads at least. Have a look at Hawk. Hawk has to make sure to take this win. That will help him a lot in the fight for 3rd. I mean, already now it will help him a lot. Oh my god! Guys! What do I see? Okay, behind him is a huge gap. Why did he do that? He makes everything exciting again. Sander would gain another 30 points now if he holds the position against Ecstatic. Ecstatic, of course, taking that booster. Is that enough to overtake him? It's not enough. Hoa with a really, really bad mistake. A 10-11 time for Hawk taking the win. And here we have Ahu in a fight. who just gets 5th place by being 10 seconds behind 4th, beats Spitfire on the line. And then we have also more people finishing here. Blackhead was just right behind Hoop. I was too late to click on it. And Kate and Snack and Rees on Bay in last place. Rees had so much pace here, but he couldn't really make the full 8 laps working. Alright, guys. Another 30 points that Sander is coming closer because Roa made a really bad mistake in a very unnecessary moment and loses another podium. He doesn't have that many podiums anymore. And we go into the last map now with a gap of only 30 points between the two. So maybe the warm-up will already tell us how good the chances are for Sander. How well is he practiced? Also, you can see in the Daddy Mania records in the bottom right, I make them a bit bigger now. Sander has trained this map, but look how close it is in the fight for second place. But Hawk, okay, just made a mistake there, but that's warm-up. Hawk is just miles in front. But then you see Sander drifting here. That's the difficulty. That could happen to Sander easily. I don't think that he has that control and that confidence that he has on other environments. Seemingly he got a very good Daddy record, but on the other maps he was actually having the fastest Daddy record, but he was not driving that pace. And if he also doesn't drive the pace of his Daddy record, if actually there is a small chance that Sander makes the whole comeback happen. The pressure is of course huge. Hawk actually was an early... Let's have a look at Hawk. That's actually exciting now. He is literally in last place. How long does he need to be first again? And you have cars forced on, which is really annoying in Coast, by the way. Oh. He was almost in first again, or let's say in second he was. Now he made another mistake. And who do we have in front? Sander in front of Roa. I cannot believe it. Roa made a small mistake there on the inside. The time loss was not that much, but it's very annoying for him that he has all the cars around now, maybe. He actually didn't really lose that much. Oh, now he's clear again from all the other cars. For Sander, it's very good that he is also clear from other cars. Hawk has huge issues! What is he doing? Oh my god! What is Hawk doing? So this first race might actually be for the win. Hawk is drifting again. Huh? He's last on Coast. The podium for Exotic is possible. Where is Exotic? He's only 8th. And Roa's in a fight. But of course always all eyes on Sander in front. You have to check out what Sander is doing. Not that he drifts away, because there are some parts here on this map. If you make a mistake there, you will lose a lot. Like there are parts where it really is a super costly mistake. And Snake also touching. Sander is actually far in front. Now what is Reese doing? Throw is back in second again somehow. Hyp is DNFing, okay. That only helps Roa. One player less to deal with. Okay, and this moment might not necessarily help Roa. Roa is also having a lot of pressure. I saw him getting small slides so often already. But even though he did have so many small moments, he is actually still in second place. For Roa, the worst possible thing is if Hawk is now actually starting to play well and then catches up to Roa, overtakes Roa but doesn't overtake Sander. That would be very, very bad for Roa. If Hawk is somehow in between himself and Sander. And that's of course not impossible, but Hawk needs to of course play a lot better than what he did now early on. To make such a comeback. Because the pace between all these drivers is pretty similar. Like only Hawk has that gap, pace-wise. But they are not super far away. And he has another drift and another drift. Nah, he lost more time now. I have to feel... He is again as a... Oh god, what is happening? What is What? What is happening to Hawk? I'm so confused. Like I've never seen him playing Coast like that. Okay, the most interesting fight is here Spitfire versus Roa. Sander doesn't really create a bigger gap by now. They actually caught up to him a little bit, I believe. Spitfire with a drift. This map seems to be so slidey, it is crazy how slidey it is. We have pretty clear gaps everywhere. This is the closest fight. Yeah. Especially now. Aru just got a small drift as well. This is a bigger drift than just a small one. Hawk is passing, K is also so good in Coast and is down in 8th. As seemingly many players make huge mistakes. Re is also just DNF'd. We have only 9 drivers driving at this point. So let's go to Roa. We can of course see him and we can see Sander, just the most important fight right now. We can see any mistakes that Sander is doing in front. Or mistakes from Roa himself, if he is doing something. Hawk and Kay are still fighting for 6th. But will be difficult for Hawk to get much further in front. It's still possible that he gets a podium overall if he wins the other 2 coast races. Because at the moment he is not losing much to Ecstatic. But he could gain a lot to Ecstatic if he takes a win here. Like if he was ahead of Sander now, he would of course gain many points. But yeah, we will see if Hawk will play better the next 2 races. It was a very surprising start. Sander had just an amazing start, and now he's like controlling the lead a little bit. He's probably trying to avoid such slide outs, I would hope. Maybe that's the reason, or Hoa is pushing a lot, I'm not sure, but you see Sander's over a second behind top 1 record, which is not bad actually, because the top 1 record is of course that sick time by Hawk. But yeah, still. Hoa drove now the fastest time with 1:11.5. And he gained like 0.3 to Sander. The thing is, if this is the end result of this race now, then Sander is gaining 30 points to Hoa and they will be equal with 2 races to go. If, however, Hoa is making the overtake, it looks grim for Sander overall. Oh, Hoa makes a mistake himself. That gives Sander a bit of breathing room now. The thing is, Hoa doesn't even lose a place. Like, he could just afford doing that. That's crazy, that they were so far in front. But Hoa can afford doing that and he's still in second. I did not expect it, because I told you guys, there are so many good drivers here on coast. So many drivers that basically wait for this environment to be played. And then they go for it. And now they are all doing so many mistakes. Ecstatic, I just wanted to say, is now in 3rd and now he just made a mistake. But Hawk is down in 8th. What is Hawk doing? He could have been actually 3rd now, because Ecstatic made a mistake and Blackhead was not far away from Hawk. But now Hawk is down. Like, this is actually a fight there. Look at this. Hawk is touching again. Like, I think it's also a thing for Hawk if he has cars around him or not. Like, if he had a good start and he would be free of all cars, he would probably just drive away and nobody would be able to follow him. But now he has always cars and he has this issue. He did a bad start and he tries to risk a bit more to catch up what he lost, and then he just does more mistakes. Here, look at this. This is one of the parts where I meant this is very dangerous to make mistakes there. You have to really avoid doing that. So, Sander's also not driving super clean. I believe he lost a little bit of time to Roa. But he can of course afford losing a little bit. Like, the only thing that matters is winning this race now, bringing that home, being then equal in points. We have 1 more lap to go that Sander has to survive. Of course, failing it now, that would be a really big throw, but Roa did such a throw on the last Bay race. Not for the win, but he of course lost his 2nd place. Sander got a bump there, that was not good. He will lose some time, but with over 2 seconds it should still be fine for him. But the Ramstein was not in his favor. As I said, we come up to that section where it's really crucial to not slide out. Like, you want to make this jump here, out of this corner. This is crucial. He makes it. Was now a bit under 2 seconds. Here you can actually drift out and leave the area, the track. But Sander saved it. Here, don't touch anything, don't flip over. He makes that happen as well. 1.5 seconds now. Roa is really catching a lot, but Sander's doing it correct. If he brings that home like that, it's just correct. He showed in the first few laps that he has the pace. 1.6 seconds. There's a fight for 7th. Hawk actually could still get 4th. That's crazy. Do we look at that? I wait this one turn. This is the last difficult turn. He makes it, but let's have a look at Hawk. Does he actually still get 4th? With all these mistakes? This reminds me of my semi-final. Hawk actually still gets 4th. Ecstatic down to 7th. This is like the battle between Snack and myself. That's such a huge thing for Hawk. And such a bad thing for Ecstatic. It could have been so different. Spitfire and Arun between them, Blackhead takes the podium position. We have the equal, guys. The equal for first and second. Now, what does actually happen if they are both having the exact same amount of points? I would think Sander would win, because there are two options that I could see in a tie situation. The one option is that the semi-final points matter, and the second option is that the amount of race wins matters. And the amount of race wins, that is definitely on Sander's side. Like, Roa is the consistent player here with lots of podium places. Sander has a lot of first places, but also had some very bad positions in the first week. On Desert, for example, on Island in one race, on Rally today the first race, and on Stadium. Sander also had bad positions on Stadium. Stadium was the environment where Roa, of course, took big advantage from. This is where he went away in points, not just by his consistency, because in Stadium Roa, of course, also gained some first places. But overall, Sander definitely has many, many more. I mean, Sander won on Island one race, he won now on Coast a race even, he won on Bay one race. He won then on Snow 2 races, on Rally he won one race, and just Desert he probably didn't win. But I'm not sure with Desert. And Stadium he didn't win. Okay. Also, interesting fight for third place, but Hawk definitely has the bigger chances here. Like, that Ecstatic actually lost 3 places to Hawk in the previous race is crazy. It could have been so different. But yeah, let's have a look at Ecstatic actually. Roa did drift away. But this is a mistake that doesn't cost too much. Like, you can live with that. It's doable. Like, you see, he's still rather close to the others. And of course he has a lot of cars around now. Snack is leading. Some people are just going full risk, I feel like, in the first lap. Ten drivers are actually playing. Hyp left. Can't drive more. Roa is overtaking Sander, or attacking Sander. This is of course the direct fight. Roa did already a mistake, but he has pace, guys. He has pace. He did do an early mistake, and now he's equal to Sander again. And Sander didn't do a mistake. Oh, but Roa does a bigger mistake now. Oh. That's actually a bigger one, and now it will take some time to catch it up, unless Sander does do some mistakes. We keep the camera on Roa because we see the whole field here and how he overtakes them. He is now attacking Race already. Sander is just ahead of Snack. Hawk is now leading. This is exactly what you would expect Hawk to do. This is what we all expected. He's now having that dominant lead. And Roa is, also he does mistakes, but he is catching up again to Sander, who is still under big pressure from many other cars that can easily make him crash there when they are on his back like that. Okay, with a big mistake. And from being ahead of Sander, he's now behind Roa, actually. Naja, fighting with Roa still. Sander, however, is in a battle with Ahu, and Roa is catching up so much in that ending section. Ahu with the crash, but also drops not only behind Sander, but also behind Roa, because Roa almost caught up the whole thing. He's trying so hard. This is such a battle. Like, Sander tries to probably save it a bit more and drives it more clean, but Roa did two bigger mistakes, actually, and he's almost there again. You can really see he has pace, but how is he able to drive that pace with all the cars around? Like, he's just overtaking these cars as if it was super easy. That is so crazy. And now we have again Sander versus Roa, just that this time Hawk is 2 seconds in front of them. And Sander needs to drive a little bit faster now, otherwise Roa is just passing him. And that has of course the risk of sliding out. Hawk actually did lose some time. It was over 2 seconds, now it's under. Roa with another small drift. Roa is definitely pushing hard. Like, he either drives fast and catches up to Sander, or he loses it again by drifting, but overall it still almost works out. Like, he's still close to Sander despite so many mistakes, because the time that he gains by risking so much is basically almost equaling it out. And if Sander makes one small blunder, then Roa is immediately in front. But it's crazy that Roa did another drift and he still remains in third now. Of course, got into a small fight with Exotic, but he still remains basically in that position. Oh, but it actually gets... he's still in fourth. How is that actually possible? Yeah, back in third, because Exotic also stumbled. How does Roa not lose more positions? That's so crazy. I mean, the others are not all too far behind, but still they don't get Roa. And he did so many drifts already. But obviously it helps Sander to have a bigger lead to Roa now. That is definitely helpful. Also behind Spitfire we have Ahu and K. It's a very, very big group. Also Blackhead isn't too far away. They're all still rather close, you know? But somehow Roa remains in front of this group. If a mistake from him would actually mean that he really loses all these places, then it would look very, very grim for Roa. They is also leaving the server now. We are down to only 9 drivers, without Rees, without Typ, without Neko. Something happened. I was not realizing it. Roa is behind that group now. By a lot. Yeah, it really depends now how many positions Roa can catch back up, but he does another drift. At this point, it is all about Sander bringing that home. Sander has to avoid doing the same mistake that Roa just did. That's like the #1 rule for Sander. He doesn't need to beat Hawk. It's not necessary to beat Hawk here. If he does beat Hawk, then it's GG. Then Sander only needs to finish the last race. Hawk actually has issues here. Oh my god. But don't get too greedy, Sander. Don't get too greedy with Hawk being next to you. Because Roa must have done a mistake in this section here that cost him that much time. And if Sander is doing the exact same mistake, then he will also drop behind that group, most likely. So this is extremely crucial to avoid. He does actually make a small mistake. Does he make the jump? Yeah, barely. Because not making that small speed check, that would be also quite big of a mistake. But yeah, ooh, drift. You see how much he just lost? He was equal with Hawk. Now it's like a 2-second gap again. And others are of course now coming closer to Sander. But yeah, as I said, Sander only has to make sure to remain in second, because that alone will make it very difficult for Roa to catch it back up. Not impossible, but Roa would need to win the last race, with the hope that Hawk is letting him win. And Sander needs to be in the field a little bit, with Hawk being ahead of him as well. If Sander wins this race somehow with a big Hawk blunder, he did a lot of blunders in the first race, then I think it is the definite GG, because I mean it would be first versus ninth. At the moment they are equal. The only way to change that would be if Roa wins then and Sander gets last. And last means ninth. That's huge. Oh no. Oh no. Does he make this jump? He makes this jump. Ecstatic actually also dropped more time. Ecstatic is not catching up, but you see Sander is also feeling the pressure, guys. He did do 2 big mistakes now in the last 2 laps, but it doesn't lose him a place. It only lost him the possible fight for first here, but it didn't lose him second yet. And you see Roa, if he didn't do this big mistake, he could have beaten Sander here, definitely. But yeah, all eyes on Sander, that's like the most important thing. 1.7 seconds he is leading to Ecstatic. Theoretically, just save it. It's the last lap. Just save the crucial sections where a mistake would actually cost that much time. Like this turn now. This turn here is just important to save. Also the exit of the chicane is important to save. That you don't slide out here before the checkpoint, because I think that this might be what happened to Roa. I didn't see it, of course, I didn't realize it. And then don't make the same drift that you did last time. Which is a bit strange because the car's not completely flat. But he makes it. And then another difficult thing is this left uphill, because if you slide out here, you slide into the uphill, which is very slow. Ecstatic caught up quite a bit, but it should be all fine. Here, don't drift. He doesn't drift. And now don't go to inside. There are bumps here that can make you crash big. Sander is really driving it super safe, and he did it perfectly. Ecstatic caught up a lot here. K versus Aru was a really close fight. And we have further back Blackhead versus Snack. That's Blackhead finish. He didn't finish, but he stays ahead of Roa. Yeah, Roa did so many more mistakes. 22 seconds. But one more race to go, guys. Landed in a 2-wheel before the off-road. Yeah, that's what I thought, that this was the part. We have one more race to go. It looks not good for Roa, but it's not completely lost. The thing is, if Roa wins the last race, yeah, then Sander needs to be in the top 5 to stay in front. Because there's an 80-point gap between them, and 5th place is 70 points worse. 6th place would already mean that Roa catches up to an equal. So it is very crucial for Roa to win, because if he only gets second, then Sander basically just needs to not get last, and Sander will win. But if Roa manages to win the race, the last one, then Sander needs a top 5 placement. And he wasn't that far in front of the others in the previous one, in the previous race. Yeah, let Sander show some nerves, and he does do a small mistake. He would be in a similar situation than Roa, that he would maybe struggle to overtake the others. And then it really depends on Hawk. Will Hawk crash or not? We have Hawk, by the way, in 3rd place overall. He passed Ecstatic now already, so here is also a direct fight for the podium. Whoever finishes in front is making it, basically. But Hawk, of course, has much higher chances to make it. It would have been more interesting if Exotic actually got 4th and Hawk only 7th in the first race, because then it would be quite open still. But yeah, here we go. Aru is sitting in a very safe 6th position. Then we have Spitfire, and then Snack, Hyp and K are rather close, but Hyp left the server. So yeah, K will just overtake him as well then. So the gaps are actually then a bit bigger. I don't think that K is gaining 80 points to Snack. Alright, we are in the last race, and everything that matters is what is Sander doing? What is he doing? Is he keeping his head clean? Is he just saving at home and others crash away for him? He actually did this part very fast and moves up to 3rd position, with Roa being already in the back. Did a small mistake, but still in the fight here. But Hawk, of course, with an early lead, and with Hawk being so far in front, the thing is now Hawk doesn't have cars around him, and I think that this affected him a lot in the first race, that there were so many cars and he always caught up to someone and they were always in the way. But now Hawk has nobody in sight, and the chances that he can just survives and plays good are pretty high. Roa is really trying everything. I mean, he has the full risk, but he does, similar to the last race, he does again a mistake and drops again behind the field. Has to overtake them back. Small bump for him, but that was still okay. He didn't get two-wheeler sidewards, so he was still stable for the corner. Sander is sitting in 2nd, is ahead of the field, doesn't have any car in sight as well, which helps him a lot, while Roa does do another small mistake here. Exotic with a big crash. He is of course fighting against Hawk for the podium, but that does not look good for him. The gap between him and Hawk is already around 6 seconds and probably extending now, while Roa is a little bit behind. Let's go a bit further in front, because this is all very close together still. Sander still in 2nd place, but the others are not too far away, especially K is risking a lot and catching up to Sander. Also Blackhead and so on, they keep up. No, Blackhead does not keep up. He actually crashes away in a very bad spot as well. And Roa, of course, also gaining that position. Blackhead and Exotic now behind. We have Spitfire still chasing Ahu, and K is still chasing... Why is his car sometimes yellow and sometimes red, guys? When I'm watching him from here, he's red. When I watch him from here, he's yellow. I do not understand that skin. When I was driving in the semi-final, I had the exact same thing. There was always this yellow-red skin that changed its color. Is it just that his... Is he also using a 3D model that is not loading correctly, or is there another reason? Hawk crashed, guys. Sander is leading. But you know what that means with Hawk crashing? Roa is again in the game. Roa is only 2 seconds, less than 2 seconds away from first. Like, Hawk is Sander's best friend if he would just dominate. Now Sander has the chance to win this last coast race, but there is a small chance for Roa to win this race. No, actually, I was talking about it and now we see Roa sliding and he lost a lot of time again. Ahu, what does he do with his transition now? Yeah, nothing. Like, why does he even try? Or catching up to Ahu. Oh my god. He at least got that checkpoint. Imagine he wouldn't have gotten that checkpoint. Maybe that happened last time, then he respawned 1 checkpoint further back. Maybe that is what happened to him. Meanwhile, Spitfire is leading the race. Sander dropped to 3rd. Sander made a mistake himself as well, a small one. But well, 1 second behind first now. Crazy that with such a big mistake in respawn, Roa is only less than 6 seconds, less than 7 seconds behind the first place. That's actually also crazy. Like the double respawn, which is not a double respawn here, just a standing respawn. You don't have flying respawns in this game, you know. The standing respawn is not so slow in that part actually. Spitfire trying everything to win the last race. You would think that Hawk would just easily overtake back, but he doesn't. Spitfire's risking it for the biscuit. Now he has of course the advantage that no car is in front of him, stealing the side. This is also still a very close battle. But the first two gained a lot of time to Sander and K. Okay, now Sander is alone again a little bit. Or up to 5th, surpassed Ahu. Let's have a look at the battle for first, because Spitfire might gain some money if he wins this race. I'm not completely sure if it's really the case. Oh, that was a weird mistake by Hawk, but he still makes this part. Also, I'm not completely sure because I couldn't find anything about that with the prize money, how it's distributed. It's not on a website somehow. Maybe it was in some announcement in the Discord, I'm not sure. Sander's still sitting in 3rd, Roa in 5th, with K in between. And Hawk is catching up to Spitfire. Gets this turn also better and goes into the lead. Let's have a look at Spitfire. Oh, he just got a slide when starting the turn. And that gives Hawk immediately quite a big lead here. Hawk is only 300ths away from his own Dedimania record, now 800. What is this? What is he doing there? Why is he steering to the left towards the wall? Oh my god. He came away with that. K lost some additional time now to Sander. Uh-oh. Just ahead of Sander. Oh, Sander has a great gear here for the exit. Last lap. Last lap of this very long grand final. Only 13 seconds between all the drivers. Hawk crashed! Nah, he cannot make that up. A 3-man fight, but Sander had a really bad gear there and loses a lot of time. It's Hawk versus Spitfire. We had seen Hawk with a better ending in another lap earlier. Sander sitting in third, Hawk in the lead, and he makes it. And who gets second? Spitfire still gets second, Sander third, and with that Sander is winning. He is winning. Roa is going into 5th place here in the finish. Ecstatic in 8th, loses then obviously the position, the fight for the 3rd podium spot here. But it is Sander doing the comeback, one of the comebacks of the year. Not just winning by a bit, he actually won by 100 points. He beats Roa in all 3 rounds on Coast. And that was of course mainly due to Roa making mistakes. This could have been a lot more different, but Roa showed more nerves in the end than Sander. Because in the first race we saw Sander beating Roa by just a little bit, just like a tiny bit when Hawk was far back. But in the other races, Roa started risking too much, started to lose the control of his car too often, and Sander stayed clean, but Roa definitely had the pace to beat Sander, and it could have been still so close, but Sander from like 300 points down or whatever when we started this grand final to a 100 point lead. Maybe this is gonna be a nomination in the Trackmania Awards 2026. Sander saying he had Giga advantage on the snowcar map was of course his own one. But I don't know if a different snow map would have been different from the result. Because Sander is of course very strong on that envy.